Hastings, Nebraska. We present Huddle Up, a great way to start your day with all the news, weather, and sports you need, interesting interviews, and friendly conversation from two guys that go together like Scooby and Shaggy. Mike Will and Tyson Havronic.
Yeah, I guess we're kind of like the morning alarm clock here. It's 7 o'clock, and welcome to Huddle Up on Extreme Sports, and welcome to a Friday, the 14th day of March for 2025, as we get you up and get you rolling out of bed here this morning. All your news, weather, and sports. Lots to talk about again today. The plate is full. Going to be talking about Nebraska baseball and softball. They're all in action this weekend. Hastings College softball team, they come up and pick up an impressive couple of wins over Briar Cliff yesterday in their conference opener. So we'll be talking about that. The Hastings College women's basketball team, they are going to take on the College of the Ozarks today in the opening round of the NAIA National Tournament at Lynn Farrell Arena. The Creighton men's basketball team, they were able to pick up a win last night in the quarterfinals of the Big East tournament at Madison Square Garden, but it wasn't easy. We'll tell you about that coming up. Creighton going to lose one of their assistant coaches as he's going to become the next head coach at Murray State. Also, the first-round play of the Boys State High School basketball tournament continued yesterday in Lincoln. The Big Ten tournament going on in Indianapolis. A couple of surprises yesterday. And the Kansas City Chiefs have a new backup quarterback. All that and more is coming up here during this hour on Huddle Up with Extreme Sports as we welcome in Tyson Havronic from the Western Studios here this morning. Good morning.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head, right? You're the morning alarm clock here at 7 a.m. and rolling out of bed and getting to work is exactly what we did here this morning as we get set to go here after a long day over at the Bill Smith Softball Complex yesterday. You mentioned it, first game goes extra innings for the Hastings College softball team. 10 innings, in fact, that instigated the Ghost Runner rule, which we all know and love and have come to have very differing opinions on, whether it comes to a purist in diamond sports or whether you're a fan of just moving the game along. But all told, the Ghost Runner rule does its job, and both teams able to scratch across the run. No runs at all through the first 9 innings, and turns into a 2-1 affair. They were both able to manufacture the runner that gets placed on second home, and Hastings College was able to drive in the winning run with a shot through the middle. So they would pick up the first game 2-1. In the second game, boy, we were teetering on more bonus softball yesterday. But Hastings College found a way, beats out an infield single, and wins the ball game after the ball gets booted by the pitcher on a shot back up the middle. And so they pick up a 2-0 start to conference play, but a big test today coming in with Northwestern, and we'll talk more about that as the day progresses. We'll be back in action bright and early. I'm going to get done with Huddle Up, immediately take the shower, and head back over to the Bill Smith Softball Complex and get you all prepared for a gigantic task today in the 20-5 Northwestern Red Raiders that are coming in to the Bill Smith Softball Complex. So that'll get our day started, and then from there, Mike, we're just like you mentioned, just going to continue roll right on into hoops. I'll swing things over to the Lynn Farrell Arena just down the block there, and we'll get underway for national tournament basketball coverage here on Extreme Sports. So lots going on today. It's going to be a very busy Friday and a very busy show as we've got Jim Sliker calling in at about 7:30. We'll talk some ponies, get you a little weekend paddock preview of what's coming up at Fauner Park and across tracks nationwide. It should be a fun-filled show here on this Friday.
So a busy day, of course. The Nebraska State High School basketball tournament is going on in Lincoln. Opening round games in 3 classes were played yesterday, and we'll get you up to date. Norris, you had to catch this on social media. Norris sent a shot from about 70 feet away at the buzzer. to beat Lincoln Pius yesterday by the score of 52-49. If you haven't had a chance to see it yet, go to your favorite social media site, and I'm sure it'll be up there somewhere. Norris hitting a shot at the buzzer from about 70 feet away to beat Lincoln Pius yesterday, 52-49. That was in the opening round game in Class B. Norris was the number one seed, so they survived. They're going to play Omaha Skutt in the semifinals tonight. Skutt picked up a 40-point win over Douglas County West, winning by a score of 71-31. The other games in Class B saw Scotts Bluff beat Gretna East 65-60, and it was Elkhorn North over Wahoo 74-65. In Class C2, the top-seeded Freeman Falcons were beaten yesterday by Bergen as they beat Freeman 51-49. Summerland over Exeter Milligan Friend 68-55. Other games in C2, it was Westholt over Utan 48-33. And Cross County, they got by Cedar Catholic by a score of 41-38. In Class D2, it was O'Neill St. Mary's beating Silver Lake 54-40. Archangels Catholic got by Stewart 61-59. Wausau over Fullerton 61-33. And Wynot knocked off Elgin Pope John by a score of 60-53. So the semifinals are set for today, and the championship games going to be played on Saturday. But a wild day yesterday in the second day of the Boise State High School basketball tournament down in Lincoln.
Yeah, full quarter for a buzzer beater for Norris, 8 toppling a 1 seed, and all the ingredients you need to say, it's March, baby. That's what happens when you pair these teams up and put them in brackets. And, of course, we're only just getting started when it comes to March. We want you to partake in our bracket challenge that is going to be coming up on the NCAA side of things. We've got links up on our Facebook page. We might share one again here today. But get in the lobby, chance to win some gift cards to one of our favorite establishments, Bullseye Sports Bar and Grill. And I think we'll place top 3 in there. And again, Selection Sunday coming up. You'll be able to take a look at that bracket. They will be due on Thursday morning before games tip off, and put your picks up against ours. And track record has shown that that's a pretty good gamble on your part to go head to head with me and Mike here on the show. But who knows? Blind Squirrel might find banana. Big news on Duke yesterday with Cooper Flagg is he went down in the ACC tournament and had to be helped off, and there was talks yesterday of him potentially returning for the ACC tournament, but then there was also talks of why would you risk it here in the conference tournament when you're Duke and you've already solidified yourself probably one of the top seeds in the tournament. Maybe just hold him off until the NCAA gets underway. But so it was a scary moments there for Duke fans. Cooper Flagg, a freshman, has just come in and absolutely lit the basketball world on fire so far here for Duke this season. So the injury set is kind of a question mark as you start to pencil in your brackets. And I just told everybody in the gang, irregardless, I'm still throwing Duke in the championship. That's my heart pick and my head pick. And obviously Cooper's status would be a big indicator on how far you advance Duke. I'm going to go ahead and throw him in the title game anyway. I'm not shy about letting you know where my picks are going to stand when it comes to March Madness. I think they've been the best basketball team all season, and I think they'll find a way. So
I was listening to the national guys last night. Flagg is not going to play today. It doesn't appear in the semifinals, and his status might be in question. You've got more problems, though, for Duke. Malik Brown is another guy who was helped to the locker room yesterday with his left arm hanging limply by his side after, again, he dislocated his left shoulder. So you're a Duke fan. You got to be concerned this morning. Tyson mentioned Flagg, and Malik Brown is another guy who could be on the sidelines for Duke. So do you pencil the Blue Devils in? Pencil them into the championship game? They could be in a world of hurt here with Flagg and Brown. Both of those, it looks like Brown might be the guy who might miss the NCAA tournament. He dislocated his left shoulder again. I think that's his second injury to that shoulder this year. Flagg will certainly be back sometime, probably not for the conference tournament, but for the NCAAs. But now you got two guys nursing injuries for Duke heading into the dance.
Yeah, and I don't think you give two kisses about this ACCC tournament here. Punt on the conference tournament. There's bigger goals. There's bigger aspirations in mind. You're a Duke team that's already going to get, like I said, a top seed anyway. And so I would, at this point, just go ahead and rest your top guys. No risk of added injury here. I know that these guys are competitors and they want to win, and anytime there's hardware on the line, you're gonna put your best foot forward. But if you're Duke right now and you've got a national championship caliber team, I'm thinking long picture here, and I'm thinking unconventionally. Let's put some guys on the bench here and let's rest and get some minutes and save up for a tournament run. Like I said, I'm still sharping them in, just because, like I said, on the.
Oh, you bet with your heart all the time.
Well, I do, but on the eye test, they have been the best team on the season.
With two of their guys out, you're going to say they're going to pass the eye test
for the first couple rounds, maybe get healthy and
first couple of rounds. I'll say yeah for the first couple of rounds.
Then you get the first couple rounds, right? And then the guys come back and they return to action and
Malik Brown's not going to come back.
It's a dislocated shoulder.
He's not going to play with a dislocated shoulder.
Pop it back in.
It's his second injury to that shoulder this year. He's probably going.
Be tough, kid.
Yeah.
Dirt on it.
Last night, the Kansas Jayhawks. I know we got a lot of Kansas folks in the lobby. Kansas losing last night to Arizona in the quarterfinals of the Big 12 tournaments. So Kansas, their up and down season continues. In fact, ran into the Bill Self after the game last night, and he reacts to the Arizona loss last night.
Yeah, obviously we didn't do a good job defensively, and they shot the ball so well early. They gave them some separation, and then we actually played pretty well probably for the next 20 minutes and 25 minutes, and then we didn't close. But we tried hard. I think we had not an excuse because we put ourselves in that position, but that was a pretty quick turnaround after four guys played almost 40 last night, and so I just didn't feel like we had the energy defensively to keep them out of the paint. And obviously they shot the ball well, but where they really hurt us the most was at the rim, and they dominated the paint.
Again, Arizona wins over Kansas last night, 88-77. Quarterfinals of the Big 12 tournament. So a loss last night by Kansas in the quarterfinals. What's that mean for a seed coming up on Selection Sunday?
I don't know enough about what they have as a 6 today. And so we certainly didn't help ourselves tonight, but we also lost to a team that's going to be probably a top 4 or 5 seed at the worst. So Arizona's good, and they're talented, and they're athletic, and they have depth, and they throw bodies. And the thing about their team, from my perspective, their success in large part will be determined how well they shoot the basketball. Mm-hmm. You start out 5 of 6 from 3. That was we couldn't keep up with that. But seed, I don't know, GB. There's still games to be played, but I would say that 6-7 line probably.
All right, that's Bill Self. So Kansas will now play the rest of the week. Get ready for Selection Sunday on this weekend, Selection Sunday. See where they're going to end up in the NCAA tournament. Again, you mentioned our bracket challenge. You can go ahead and get registered for that anytime, maybe today through the weekend. And then certainly the brackets will be out on Sunday. They'll get posted, and then you can make your choices. But if you'd like to get signed up and get ready for our bracket challenge, you can just go to our Facebook site and our social media sites. You'll find our bracket challenge and get signed up and then get ready to go on Sunday, just like everybody is. You might as well just pencil off your Saturday night. You're not going to be watching anything because you're gonna have the brackets. I told my wife, the brackets are going to be out, so I got to walk around all next week with a bracket or two in my back pocket.
I'm gonna do my best to get her filled out so that we can walk through it on the show on Monday. That's kind of my goal is within the first couple hours of Selection Sunday, and after hearing the teams, we'll go ahead and no use sitting there squabbling and toiling over oh my God, who's gonna win this 60? Just go with your gut. I've
got to sit down Sunday night and fill out my entire bracket.
It's not that hard.
I can't stew and do a little homework like Monday and Tuesday. Can't we just like dabble into it on Monday morning?
Yeah, we'll briefly dabble.
We can dabble.
I'll give you an extension on the assignment.
Yeah. Give me a couple of days. I want to. We'll dabble in the bracket on Monday, but it's like sticking my toes in the water to make sure it's lukewarm. I've got to test things out here before I fill out my bracket.
I've already got like Cinderellas and upsets circled, and just depending on where they land in the bracket, how far we're going to advance them. I've been kind of taking a look at the mid-majors throughout the year, kind of have an idea of some of those 12 and 13s likely landers that I'm going to push far. Like I've just kind of been off and on doing a little research. What little college basketball I've seen this season. I'm putting the bracket together with that knowledge and with just kind of that gut inclination, because you could do all the research in the world, and by day one your bracket is busted. And so, I'm just going with a lot of gut fever here and gut feeling, and kind of traditional blue bloods that always make their way into the Sweet 16, Elite 8. We're going to push them far, and we'll see how things shake out. But what an off year for Kansas basketball. They're talking 6 and 7 seed, and if you paid attention to the show and our Kansas listeners, this has been the most miserable basketball season in a long time for Kansas, and they're still going to make the tournament in probably the 7 to 8, 6 to 7 range.
I don't put
what
much
a luxury.
I don't put much stake into these seeds. If you get into the dance, you're in.
That's right.
You're into the dance, and all you got to do is win.
A 1 in 68 shot.
Yeah, you're gonna have to play these teams eventually along the way. So you just win and you advance. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about who you're playing. Who cares if you're playing a number 4 seed in the second round or a number 3 seed in the third round? Who cares? You gotta just beat them. Win and you continue. You lose, you're heading home.
You lose, you're done.
So I don't put a lot of stake in that. Of course, if you're in Nebraska, we're just looking to make a tournament somewhere.
We talked about
that yesterday. We'll find out on Monday. Might be talking about that.
Vegas.
That could be a new show. A new part of the show. What will we be talking about on Monday for our sports headlines? Will we be talking about the NCAA tournament or where Nebraska is headed in the tournament that nobody knows about?
I bet you didn't have this on what we were going to be talking about, Radar, and I wanted to just briefly touch up on it. Remember Hurricane Milton that went through and damaged Tropicana Field for the Tampa Bay Rays? That puts the Tampa Bay Rays at the Yankees spring training site here for the upcoming season because of the damages to the Trop, and everybody said, oh, thank God, this is finally going to be the opportunity that Tampa builds a new stadium and builds a new ballpark that isn't an eyesore and a dump. Rays ownership has now announced that they will not move forward on plans for a new stadium in St. Petersburg. The organization says they're currently focused on preparing a return to Tropicana Field in 2026. However, if you read between the lines, there is a much bigger thought that the Rays ownership team potentially going to be looking at some bigger bids in Orlando, because they specifically mentioned not a return to a new ballpark in St. Petersburg. They are looking at some bids in Orlando to try to get up on some Disney money, and a group called the Orlando Dreamers trying to move a ball team down there, and the Tampa Rays would obviously be the most likely fit. Watched their spring training game yesterday against the Red Sox, or highlights of it, I should say. I was pretty busy with softball, but they had the spring breakout where they just took the top prospects and threw them on the field. That's a good good Rays bunch, and I would hate to see them play in a basically rebuilt dump of Tropicana Field. It's been the eyesore for baseball for the last several years, and so I'm encouraged by this news that they'd potentially go to Orlando.
Well, what's wrong with a dump?
It's an eyesore.
What's wrong
baseball.
with it?
It's ugly. God, it's a hideous field already.
It just looks ugly, or the amenities are not good.
And the amenities are not good. All of the noise is basically manufactured in. It's a dome. Domes are outdated and no longer viable for a professional sports team. You know, you're in Florida, for God's sakes. Open up a roof and get the outdoor sunshine.
Rain.
They would be.
It rains in Florida. It rains in Florida a lot.
That's why you build a retractable roof.
Well, now you're saying you want a roof on it.
I'm just saying you can build a retractable roof and open it up when it's sunshiny.
Which is probably most of the time, but
which is probably most of the time, especially in Orlando.
All right, 7:20. You're waking up with Mike and Tyson here this morning. It's a Huddle Up on Extreme Sports. A lot more to discuss. If you'd like to join us, you can. Give us a call, 402-834-1330. 402-834-1330 is our telephone number. Or if you'd like to leave us a message on one of the social media sites, we're monitoring all those as well. Just drop us a line. We'd like to make you part of our show here as we get you up and get you going here for this Friday morning. Let's get our first update on news now at 7:21 on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
Good morning here on Extreme Sports, 721. Your local news headlines start off with Hastings going to be using some incoming grant funds to redevelop the former Hastings Middle School into a residential community. Hastings was among 12 recipients awarded a total of $12.5 million through the Rural Workforce Housing Fund. The fund helps communities develop quality, affordable housing to support growth. Meanwhile, at the U.S. Capitol, the Environmental Protection Agency has announced 31 deregulatory actions yesterday in a sweeping rollback from the previous administration. Among them, the announcement that they will be reviewing the WOTUS rule, otherwise known as Waters Over the U.S. Governor Jim Pillen says he is encouraged that a review and subsequent changes to a rule defining waters of the United States will result in benefits to Nebraska farmers, ranchers, developers, businesses, and landowners. Governor Pillen was among a group of governors who in early 2023 objected to the revised definition and sent a letter to then President Biden calling its implementation problematic. The EPA said yesterday's decision was aimed at slashing regulations and reducing costs to the American taxpayer. Speaking of taxes, a proposal to increase taxes on candy, pop, cigarettes, and luxury services got a public hearing yesterday in the Nebraska legislature. Let's use luxury services with bunny air quotes here. The bill by Senator Tom Brandt would increase taxes on everything from dry cleaning and charter flights to telemarketing and pet grooming. Brandt said his bill would help the state budget and property tax situation. Meanwhile, Brian Sloan, president of the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce, spoke against the measure, saying it simply shifts the state's tax burden from one population to another. It's now 7:23. That's check of your local news here this morning. Let's swing things back over to the East Side Studios. Mike, what's the haps in sports?
Well, the Nebraska baseball team will play at UCLA this weekend. It'll be the first meeting between the two schools since 2011. Huskers are 7-8 on the season after sweeping a pair of games from Wichita State during the week. First pitch tonight will be at 7. The Nebraska softball team on the road. They're in Columbus, Ohio this weekend for a 3-game series against Ohio State. The Huskers are 19-6 on the season. First pitch tonight will be at 5. Hastings College softball team open up the conference season with a pair of walk-off wins over Briar Cliff yesterday. Lauren Lee drove in the winning run in the 10th inning to give the Broncos a 2-1 victory in the opener. And Sophia Carroll beat out a throw to first base to drive home the winning run in the nightcap as Hastings beat Briar Cliff 6-5. The Broncos now 12-8 on the season, 2-0 in the conference. They'll host Northwestern in another doubleheader today. Action gets underway at 10 this morning at the Smith Complex And we'll have the games on Extreme Sports beginning with a pregame show at 9:45 this morning. Hastings College women's basketball team will play the College of the Ozarks today in the opening round of the NAIA National Tournament at Lynn Farrell Arena. The Broncos are 23-7 in the season. The Bobcats are 20-10. Tip-off will be at 5 o'clock today. We'll have pregame coverage beginning at 4:45 here on Extreme Sports. We'll also have the second game today between LSU Shreveport and Huntington of Indiana. The two winners will play tomorrow at 5. Ryan Cockbrenner scored 32 points last night to lead Creighton to an 85-81 victory over DePaul in the quarterfinals of the Big East tournament at Madison Square Garden. The Blue Jays will play UConn in the semifinals tonight. Murray State is expected to hire Creighton assistant coach Ryan Miller as its next head coach. Miller has worked under Greg McDermott at Creighton since 2021. He also spent time on the bench at TCU, UNLV, Auburn, New Mexico, Pepperdine, and Memphis. First round action in the Boise State High School basketball tournament continued yesterday. Class B winners were Norris, Omaha Skutt, Scotts Bluff, and Elkhorn North. In Class C2, the winners were Fremont Bergen, Summerland, West Holt, and Cross County. In Class D2, the winners were St. Mary's, Archangels Catholic, Wausau, and Wynot. Semifinals in all 6 classes will be held today. The finals are set for Saturday. In the Big Ten tournament in Indianapolis yesterday, Oregon beat Indiana 72-59. Wisconsin got by Northwestern 70-63. Illinois outscored Iowa 106-94. And Purdue defeated USC 76-71. Scheduled today has Michigan State against Oregon, UCLA against Wisconsin, Maryland will play Illinois, and Michigan will take on Purdue. All 4 games will be on the Big Ten Network. That's a check on the sports headlines. 7:27 now on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
A marginal risk is in place today for the Tri-Cities. Large hail, damaging winds, few isolated tornadoes possible. The better chances will be well to our east over by Lincoln and Omaha. Other than that, 72 is the high. We'll have southerly winds gust at 30 miles per hour. Overnight tonight, 35 is the low. And on Saturday, we'll have winds gusting to 40 miles per hour. Saturday, we'll have a high of 50, 62, and sunny on Sunday. And expect warm temperatures next week as well.
Right now, we've got south winds at 14. It is partly cloudy. And it's 51 in Hastings at Extreme Sports.
Accessible and affordable holistic care is just around the corner at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center, located at 208 South Burlington, Suite 101 in Hastings. Experience soothing massages, rejuvenating scalp treatments, and advanced Glow 2 facials, along with ozone therapy and frequency healing. Join us for our spring open house on March 29th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Enjoy free tours, 20% off all bookings, exciting giveaways, and a chance to win a $100 gift card for the first 30 product purchases. Become a member for 24-hour access to amenities like the infrared sauna, hydro massage, and cryo lounge, plus discounts on services and products. Visit us on Facebook to learn more. Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. Truly holistic care designed for you.
I'm John Butler, funeral director and owner at Livingston Butler Volland Funeral Home and Cremation Center in Hastings.
And I'm Nikki Butler, the advanced funeral planning specialist. Whether you choose a traditional service, cremation, or a unique memorial service, our experienced staff is here to help guide you through every step. Visit us at lbvfh.com to learn more about our services and how we can support you.
Livingston Butler Volland Funeral Home and Cremation Center. We are here when your need is greatest.
Hamilton has been providing IT solutions for businesses across the state of Nebraska for more than 3 decades. We know that Nebraska businesses are a driving force of support for the communities in which we live and work. We keep them connected and protected by delivering cybersecurity, hosted phones, and managed IT. We are grateful to be part of our Nebraska communities and to support their technology needs.
More information at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Extreme Sports has been bringing you the exclusive home of Hastings College Athletics, and we're just getting started. Thanks to our incredible sponsors and your support, Extreme Sports 2 has been a huge success. And now we're excited to announce the launch of Extreme Sports 3. With Extreme Sports 3, you'll get even more local sports coverage. Plus, 24/7 access to Sports by Line, where you'll hear the best in national sports talk. Whether it's Hastings College, high school action, or the latest from around the sports world, we've got it covered across all 3 streams. And don't forget, when we're not broadcasting games, join us weekday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. for Huddle Up with Mike Will and Tyson Havronik. It's the perfect way to start your day with sports, news, weather, and great local interviews. So tune in, check out all 3 streams, and stay with us for even more sports coverage coming soon. Thank you to our sponsors for making it all possible, and to you, our listeners, for keeping Extreme Sports strong.
All right, Mike Will, Tyson Havronik with you on a Friday morning. It's now 7:33. Again, thanks for joining us, whether you're listening online on our website at x-streamsports.com, maybe on your smartphone with our free mobile app, your smart speaker, Roku TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're listening to us or watching us today. Thanks for joining us here on Extreme Sports. Again, usually we check in with Jim Sliker from the Nebraska Thoroughbred Racing Network at this time. I think they told me he was vacationing this weekend, and he's trying to connect with us from Mexico. You might know.
He's having some issues.
Yeah, he's having some issues connecting with the mainland. So we'll roll on here, and as soon as Jimmy gets through, or can find a way.
Gets through. Yeah.
We'll get him on the air. We wanted to talk the NFL stuff. We didn't get to this in our first segment. Gardner Minshew. God. I talked about it last season when he was at Las Vegas. And Gardner Minshew is now a member of the Kansas City Chiefs.
There you go.
He's the backup quarterback now for Patrick Mahomes.
So now does Carson Wentz go to Pittsburgh because they don't have a quarterback?
Yeah, he's a free agent, so we're going to lose Carson Wentz. Gardner Minshew, the guy who we were making fun of. Yeah, we're making fun of when the Raiders put him as a starting quarterback at the end of last season. Hell, now he's on our team. I shouldn't say our team. He's on my team now.
Yeah, he's on my team.
Minshew is going to back up Patrick Mahomes. The Raiders released Minshew on Wednesday, 1 year after signing him to a 2-year, $25 million contract. Minshew has 68 touchdown passes, 34 interceptions in 59 career games with the Raiders, Indianapolis, Philadelphia, and Jacksonville. So, welcome to the Chiefs' kingdom, Gardner Minshew.
Looks
I hope nothing happens to Patrick Mahomes this year. I'm in the same boat as maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers fans who don't have a quarterback. Now I'm worried about our backup just in case something happens to Patrick Mahomes. We're going to throw our fortunes into the basket of Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, you got to be hoping for your starter to go. I believe that we are good to go here with Jim.
Is he in with us now? Hold on a second. I get the horses of the post.
They're at the post. Now they're moving into the
All right, Jim Slacker of the Nebraska Thoroughbred Racing Network is going to join us, hopefully. Jimmy boy, you there? Uh-oh.
No.
I don't hear Jimmy boy.
There is. Yeah.
I don't hear Jimmy boy. I don't hear Jimmy boy. Jim Slacker, I think he's on vacation.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't hear him at all, do we?
Shane's trying to work some behind-the-scenes magic here, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get Jim on here this morning. He was having trouble connecting. We tried to connect with him, and so we'll continue to troubleshoot some stuff on our end and see if
no,
we can
it's the. I don't think it's us. I think it's United States and Mexico.
Yep.
Hell no, we probably got a tariff that we got to pay. No, did we pay the tariff
for cell phone work?
Yeah, maybe we're not supposed to chat with anybody in Mexico. Maybe
great. We'll see if we can't find a way to sneak him on here on the show before we wrap up shop. But yeah, speaking of Fauna Park, I guess we can talk shop a little bit. We got a big stakes race that's coming up on Saturday, and I'm curious to get his thoughts here. Our cash cow, the one that we've talked about here on the show previously, Diamond Go Girl, it's coming off here on a Saturday on the Orphan Kiss Stakes as a 10-1, a very talented field here that a lot of people have eyeballs on. And I've been a big supporter of Diamond Go Girl. He was the cash cow last year for me, but he's got tough competition from everything from a 2-1 PR odds setter who has always been towards the front of the pack, and then we've got Temperature's Lady, actually the favorite, going off at 9-5 here, at least according to the early Saturday morning odds, and those will fluctuate.
Oh, yeah, wait. There, Jimmy's calling in now.
Jim, can you hear us?
I can hear you finally. My call finally made it through.
Jimmy, where are you?
Quintana Roo, Mexico.
That sounds great.
Oh, jeez.
It's beautiful. I'm sitting down here, as you would say, toes in the water. With a margarita in hand.
What time is it down there?
It's the same time as what you guys are. They're on Eastern Standard Time down here. They don't honor the daylight savings time, so it's an identical time.
I support all of this. I support everything that's happening. Margarita in hand, no
toes in the sand.
Oh man, sounds great, Jim. Let's just talk a little bit about the horse racing here. I mentioned this, the Orphan Kiss Stakes races that are going on this weekend, but fill us in here with the latest on kind of what you've seen here on the early indications from this weekend.
As far as weather, we could have a little rain. Shouldn't affect the racing. I mean, we'll have some off tracks possible if the rain does materialize, a little wind, but everything looks to be a go yet. And there's some pretty good races on tap, including Saturday, the Orphan Kiss Stakes for Nebraska bred fillies and mares. And there's 7 really nice horses in that ought to be a really banged up race.
Jim, you won me some money last week. You gave me some picks on Friday. I went out and played those, won some money on Friday. So thank you for all the inside information last weekend for me.
Well, let's hope we can continue it this week. I may be in Mexico, but I still put a lot of time in this. I'll be watching the races live down here yet, following right along with everybody else. And maybe even figuring out a way to make it better.
Well, you mentioned you've been following some of the racing, and I'm sure as we wake up and get going here, margarita in hand or not, you've got some good picks here. Is there a best bet for the weekend from you, Jim?
Well, I've got a couple of them that I really like this weekend. Friday in race 3, number 4, Flashing Chip. Flashing Chip's been up twice. He's won both his furlong races by opening margins. I look for him to do that again today. You also have the combination of Mark Ibram and Cardoso, so that's probably going to be some fairly low odds on that horse. But to me, that looks like a lock. If we get rain, that could change, but because that horse does really like a fast track. And then on Saturday, race 4, number 5, PR Odds Maker. Now, that's PR Odds Maker, not Odds Setter, that will be in the feature race in the Orphan Kiss. But same owner, same trainer, etc. That horse hasn't made a start this year, but has had some fantastic workouts. Last year started 4 times, got 2 firsts, 2 seconds. This horse appears ready to run.
All right, so a couple of...
Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, go ahead, Jimmy. I butted in on you. Your couple of best bets there coming up this weekend. You can finish that out.
Well, if you're looking for some better payers, I got 2 that I'll be playing. Friday, I'll be looking at race 4, number 8, Judge Jennings. Marvin Johnson sends out 2 horses in that race. Normally, Nathan Haar is his rider of first call. Nathan Haar has actually chose to ride Diamonds for Avery. But I really think putting David Cardoso on Judge Jennings will make a huge difference. He's able to get a horse out of the gate, and you could see some pretty good odds on that one. And I think that'll be a really good play for the odds. And then on Saturday, one I like for a long shot in there is going to race 2, number 2, State Smart School, or School Smart, excuse me. When he ran last time, that was on an off track. Early in the day, the times were really slow. He ran in the 3rd race that day. You look at his times, and you're going, wow, gee, they've been running 112. They've been running some really nice times. You go back, that horse ran a 114 and change. Looked slow, but that track was really a hard track to run on as far as getting good times. So it's really misleading. And I really like playing that one back. It's tracking the times were really good on March. I believe that was the 8th, and he's coming right back. So a good sign there.
Yeah, we're talking with Jim Sliker from the Nebraska Thoroughbred Racing Network as we get you sent for another weekend of racing at Fauner Park in Grand Island. Nationally, Jimmy, anything going on that horse racing fans need to know?
Well, there's one prep race this week is all for the Kentucky Derby, and that's at Colonial Downs, the $500,000 Virginia Derby. But if you're a nice field, it's kind of a short field. There's 7 or 8 horses in it that are going to go. I believe there's going to be one scratch in that race from indications that we heard. Bob Baffert sends out a horse that was a favorite last time, won the $400,000 Sunland Derby. But that was a pretty tough race. He barely won that race. And I'm looking for a horse that's coming out of Oaklawn Park. It's a very lightly raced horse. It's only run twice. I really look for number 7, Rapture, to be impressive in this race. The first time he got beat, he won at Gulfstream. He got beat by a horse called Vassimo, which was supposed to be a really good horse. It's made some all right money in a very short career, but when he comes back and very impressively wins his next out that was at Oaklawn Park. Speed rating is really fantastic, that race. Now, again, on that one, the race time was a little slow, but the track was also slow that day. So I look for Rapture out of the Brad Cox barn. Gets one of the top riders in Flavian Pratt to lay just off the pace and run him down in the stretch.
Jim Sliker again joining us here this morning with margarita in hand and toes in the water over from Mexico, and I want to get to that point too. So I need to hit here on this Orphan Kiss Stakes race that's coming up this Saturday. You mentioned it is a talented field. I had opened it up and I immediately saw one of my favorites and one of my cash cows, Diamond Go Girl. Typically, I circle that, take it right to the teller, and then I saw the line on it, and it was sitting at 10-1. And I think we just lost Jim, so we get to that. Not going to get my hot pick there on the.
Not going to get inside information.
Nope.
Our tariff.
We just lost it. Yep.
I think our tariff must have ran out. That was our 20% tariff we paid, and we paid. That was it. They shut us off. That's it. We can't go on vacation anymore. That's it. No one can go on vacation because I suppose if we're in the United States, cell phone service probably works a lot better, but we're trying to call between Mexico and the United States.
You know, with the way he was sounding from Mexico and the way he was typing that baby up, man, like, all power to you, dude.
All right, well,
Margarita
at least
at 7:45 in the morning, yes, please.
Yeah, at least he gave us some picks to get through the weekend. So yeah, maybe we'll have Jimmy back in the mainland.
He did send in PR odds setter for the feature race. So I was gonna ask him. I said, I love my Diamond Go girl, but who can knock that horse off? And he's put in the comments PR odds setter there in the feature. So we wish Jim the best and safe travels back to the States, but wish him a very happy vacation, and we'll always appreciate him joining us on Friday morning to talk some ponies.
You can again we didn't get to this with Jimmy, but you can always go to his Facebook page. It's a group, Nebraska Thoroughbred Racing Network. You can go to the Facebook page there and get all of his picks. Even though he's got a margarita in hand and toes in the sand down in Mexico, he does have picks for today. So if you want to go to his Facebook group page, he'll have all the picks for you if you're heading up to the track at Fauner Park. Yeah, he did give me some winners last Friday. I made my debut at the track last Friday. Can't say I came out a big winner.
You did what I did.
Yeah, I kind of played with the money for a while.
Yep.
Then got greedy late in the day as things kicked in.
Yep. You pulled at me.
Yeah, things got greedy, and I was way over my head in a couple of races because I went up and actually took money a couple of times and stuffed it in my pocket. And says, "Hell, this is easy."
God, we are the same better.
I know. So as things started to kick in later in the day,
wonder what's kicking in.
It wasn't margaritas, but it was damn close to margaritas.
Right.
It kicked in later in the day, and I walked out of there
This
with.
is easy. I can do this.
At least I didn't lose everything I took up there.
That's the important thing.
That's what if I can make it to a day at the casinos out in Las Vegas, if I still have money in my pocket for the day, I call it a win.
You still got money to put in the gas tank to get home?
Yeah, or get the car out of Hawk. At the airport.
That's always a win.
So, anyway, waking up with Mike and Tyson here this morning, 7:47 on Extreme Sports. A couple of other things wanted to bring up. We talked about Gardner Minshew joining the Kansas City Chiefs as their backup quarterback.
I'm sorry.
Michael Endorf, he has chimed in with Carson Wentz possibly coming to Pittsburgh. He said he'll take Carson Wentz.
This is the best available option right now, because now they don't have an option.
Over Rodgers and Russell Wilson. Let Mason Rudolph battle out for the quarterback job. Is Mason Rudolph still at? Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, is still at Pittsburgh?
Yeah, must be.
So he's going to battle it out maybe with Carson Wentz.
It'd be a fun QB battle.
Yeah, that hasn't been official yet. The Carson's going there, but
right.
It'd be a good spot for
landing
him.
Spot.
Miles Sanders plans to sign a one-year deal with the Dallas Cowboys. He was released by the Carolina Panthers earlier this week, saving the team over $5 million against the salary cap. So Sanders now returns to the NFC East, where he spent 4 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles. So a couple of NFL notes today. We were talking about March Madness earlier. March Madness remains the biggest betting event in the United States.
Really?
An estimated $3.1 billion. That's $3.1 billion with a B is expected to be bet on this year's NCAA men's and women's basketball tournaments with U.S. sports books and probably a lot of money bet elsewhere. $3.1 billion. That's a lot of cash. Yeah, that's a lot of cash.
I can't get into betting on basketball games from an individual standpoint.
It's tough.
It's harder than hell. It really is.
The guy scores at the end of the damn game that has no bearing on anything, just kind of throws something up there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm amazed by how the odds makers have got these games down to the gnat's ass.
Oh, yeah.
you know, Las Vegas has it at 8.5 points. All right, so your team's ahead by 9. You think you got it in the bag, and some guy comes down with the game not on the line or anything, but he throws it up there and it goes through the hole. It counts, so they got to They got to say it counts, and it's a 7-point spread, and you lose. I've done that many a times.
Yep. It happened to me just, I think, like 9 times in a row before I finally said, hey, let's stop beating our head on a wall. And then this betting basketball is just not for me. Betting baseball, I know it's taboo in the baseball world, but I used to take my hand in it. You can't tell baseball games, especially, man. There's one game you could win 13-0 and flex your muscles, and the next game, the Pittsburgh Pirates could go knock off the New York Yankees, and I think that's going to be more of a possibility this season. But last season before they got Paul Skeens, it wasn't. But Pittsburgh can turn around. Baseball is such a weird game like that. So baseball is a fool's game to try to play. Football is really the only one that I've even had a sniff.
You're not,
of success.
No, you're not. You don't have any success doing that either.
I went 4-1 3 weeks in a row.
And then what?
On this show.
And then what?
I got greedy, and things started kicking in, and then I started getting.
Let's see.
Creative.
I still got your record right over here.
It's still better than yours.
It was
a sniff of success.
You were 53-41-1.
Thank you.
In your picks this year, I was 50-44-1.
And that record only netted me 2 trips to the bookie this year.
Steph Curry drilled a 28-foot three-pointer from the right wing yesterday to become the first player in NBA history to reach 4,000 three-pointers. Golden State won last night, 130-104. So Steph Curry continues to line him up. He's already got the record of three-pointers. He established that in 2021, but he just keeps adding to his record now. He's got 4,000 three-pointers as he drilled one yesterday. So Steph Curry continues to line him up in the NBA.
Can I make an odd statement?
I know. You probably don't have anything good to say about him either.
It's not that I don't care. I have watched so little NBA. I honestly thought he retired. I'll be brutally honest with you. I thought Steph Curry retired like 2 years ago.
And you're my host for this sports talk show? You thought Steph Curry retired?
NBA is not my thing.
Obviously, it's not. God.
You've got NASCAR. I've got other specialties. Man, I can throw soccer stats at you and hockey stats all day long. NBA is not my deal.
Well, we told everybody at the beginning of this show, way back in September when we debuted this show, that we're experts on nothing. And we're not. We're not experts on anything. That's why we'd love to make you part of this show anytime, because you'll stand well above what you're hearing on this show.
Got more comments coming in here from Jim and other racing news today. They started the $4.5 million Nation Horse Racing Handicapping Contest in Vegas. Winner taking home a pretty prize of $825,000 in the 3-day tournament. Also, a no money tournament that you must qualify through qualifying tournaments throughout the year. There'll be about 700 participants this year in the handicapping contest.
We're not
fun.
We're not one of them.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, but we're not one of the 700.
No. Well, we got to get a hell of a lot better. we got to do more than get to about race 7, and then those Belgian brews start to kick in, and then we start to get brave and get creative with our bets. So
sooner or later, something is going to pop like late when we are indulging in some adult cocktails. Sooner or later, we're going to stumble across something that's going to pay out. You know what's going to happen?
That'd be a party.
It would be.
That would be a party.
Anyway, we got to get going here. 7:54 as you wake up with Mike and Tyson here this morning on the Huddle Up.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
7:54 here on Extreme Sports. Check of local news. Hastings using some incoming grant funds to redevelop the former Hastings Middle School into a residential community. Hastings among 12 recipients awarded to a total of $12.5 million through the Rural Workforce Housing Fund. The fund helping communities develop quality and affordable housing to support growth. The Environmental Protection Agency yesterday at the U.S. Capitol announced 31 deregulatory actions in a sweeping rollback from the previous administration. Among them, the announcement that they will be reviewing the WOTUS rule, otherwise known as Waters of the U.S. Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen said he is encouraged that a review and subsequent changes to a rule defining the law will result in benefits to Nebraska farmers, ranchers, developers, businesses, and landowners. Governor Pillen was among a group of governors who in early 2023 objected to the revised definition and sent a letter to then President Biden calling its implementation problematic. The EPA said yesterday's decision was aimed at slashing regulations and reducing costs to the American taxpayer. And a proposal to increase taxes on candy, pop, cigarettes, and luxury services got a public hearing yesterday in the Nebraska legislature. The bill by Senator Tom Brandt would increase taxes on everything from dry cleaning and charter flights to telemarketing and pet grooming. Brandt said his bills would help the state's budget and property tax situation. Brian Sloan, president of the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce, spoke against the measure, saying it simply shifts the state's tax burden from one population to another. I hate everything in that except for like telemarketing. You could tax the telemarketers from calling us. That would be great. 7:56. Let's go over to the East Side Studios. Mike, what's the haps in sports?
Hastings College softball team picking up a pair of wins yesterday over Briar Cliff, 2-1 and 6-5. The Broncos back on the diamond here coming up later on this morning. They've got a couple of games scheduled against Northwestern. They get underway at 10 this morning. We'll have the action from the Smith Complex beginning at 9:45 here today on Extreme Sports. Later on today, the Hastings College women will play the College of the Ozarks in the opening round of the NAIA National Tournament at Lynn Farrell Arena. Tip-off will be at 5. We'll be on the air with a pregame show here on Extreme Sports at 4:45. So a busy day today with a couple of softball games early and a couple of basketball games late as well. So I'll bring you LSU Shreveport and Huntington of Indiana tonight in the second game of the national tournament there at Lynn Farrell Arena. First round action in the Boise State High School basketball tournament continued yesterday. Class B winners were Norris, Omaha Scott, Scotts Bluff, and Elkhorn North. Class C2, Fremont Bergen, Summerland, Westfold, and Cross County picked up wins. In Class D2, the winners were St. Mary's, Archangels Catholic, Wausau, and Wynot. Semifinals in all 6 classes going to be held today. The finals are set for Saturday.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
A marginal risk is in place today for the Tri-Cities. Large hail, damaging winds, few isolated tornadoes possible. The better chances will be well to our east over by Lincoln and Omaha. Other than that, 72 is the high. We'll have southerly winds gust to 30 miles per hour. Overnight tonight, 35 is the low. And on Saturday, we'll have winds gusting to 40 miles per hour. Saturday, we'll have a high of 50, 62, and sunny on Sunday. And expect warm temperatures next week as well.
South winds at 14, 51 degrees at Extreme Sports.
Accessible and affordable holistic care is just around the corner at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center, located at 208 South Burlington, Suite 101 in Hastings. Experience soothing massages, rejuvenating scalp treatments, and advanced Glow 2 facials, along with ozone therapy and frequency healing. Join us for our spring open house on March 29th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Enjoy free tours, 20% off all bookings, exciting giveaways, and a chance to win a $100 gift card for the first 30 product purchases. Become a member for 24-hour access to amenities like the infrared sauna, hydro massage, and cryo lounge, plus discounts on services and products. Visit us on Facebook to learn more. Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. Truly holistic care designed for you.
Connet Auto Care is the trusted name in automotive repair and maintenance services in Hastings. We're a gold-certified Napa Auto Care Center. Our ASE-certified technicians have the Blue Seal of Excellence, receive continuous training, and are committed to providing the best service your vehicle can get. Whether it's preventative maintenance, major repairs, or just an oil change, Connet Auto Care is here for you.
Mike Wills, Tyson of Ronick. It's Huddle Up on Extreme sports for this Friday. So, again, a busy day for us. You've got softball coming up at 9:45 this morning with Northwestern and Hastings College from the Smith Complex. We'll have a couple of games there. Later on, we'll have Hastings College and the College of the Ozarks in the national tournament at Lynn Farrell Arena. 5 o'clock for that game, followed by Huntington of Indiana and LSU Shreveport. Coming up in the second game at 7, so we'll have two softball games early, 2 basketball games late for us today. So 4 games on tap for you. Just leave it right there on Extreme Sports. We'll get you covered here today. Until you get softball, we'll have all the latest info with the guys in the nose, so to speak. The guys that they might be experts. They might be experts in this whole wide world of sports.
They just might be. I did happen to catch the Norris High School Twitter page, or X page, whatever you want to call it these kids nowadays. But they had a video of the full court shot, and yeah, what a remarkable scene. Incredible. So.
The semifinals are today at the state tournament down in Lincoln, and then the finals are set for Saturday. So.
Yep. I got to shower and get the hell over to the Bill Smith softball complex. Little Lee chimed in on Twitch. He said he's already there, so
he's waiting for you.
On my way. Yep,
he's waiting for you. Little Lee's already there.
We'll shower up and we'll head out to the ballpark here and set the stage for what's going to be a pretty fun Friday to be a Bronco, I think.
Yeah, so lots going on today. Stay with us here on Extreme Sports. We'll get you covered. It's going to be a great weekend sports-wise. Enjoy whatever you might be heading out to this weekend, and we'll get back together again on Monday morning. Who knows? Might be talking about a postseason bid for the Huskers.
BC.
We're going to Vegas. We're going to be going to Vegas. Anyway, have yourself a great weekend. And, again, we'll be back again on Monday morning here on Huddle Up.
You've been listening to